Hello friends, welcome to YouTube channel of Creative Edge, one of the subsidiaries of Top Rankers. Friends, my name is Rajendra Bhatia and today I am going to talk about color theory, one of very important subject in design. In fact, there are many elements out of which most important that I would like to talk about is color theory. In fact, the element name is color and theory is what I am talking about. Now, first of all, what is color? When light strikes an object, some colors are absorbed, others are bounced or reflected. Our eyes only see the colors that are bounced off or reflected. So a red object reflects red and absorbs other color of white light. How is the color perceived? Now it's a complex of a process. First of all, one must understand what is the anatomy, what is the anatomy of our eye. For example, eye has got this dark portion which is cornea, and the center of that dark portion is pupil. That is not an organ, that is the hole inside the cornea. So the light enters the eye through pupil, okay, and it goes through a double convex lens inside the eye and forms the image at the back of the eye on a layer called as retina. So color perception is like light enters the eye through pupil and passes through lens, which focuses the light on the retina. Light means the image as full containing the color. From there, of course, with help of optic nerve, it is conveyed to the brain. Now, let me show you. Suppose you are looking at a billiards ball, which is of cyan color. White light is falling onto that billiards ball, which is originally of cyan color. What will happen? The three components of white light are blue, green and red. Red is totally absorbed, whereas blue and green are reflected by that cyan ball. Now, the blue and green light rays from the cyan ball enters the pupil of eye, reaches retina through the lens. Retina contains two kinds of cells, rods and the cones. Rods are responsible for the tonal value of the light, how dark and how light it is, whereas the three types of cone are responsible individually for absorbing for realizing the blue, green and red component of white light. Here, from the cyan ball, only blue and green are traveling to the retina. From there it is conveyed to the optic nerve. From optic nerve, it goes to the optic lobe of brain. Now, when blue and green together are traveling, blue and green together makes a color called as cyan. So, from cyan ball, white light has conveyed blue and green, traveled through the, firstly by the cones of the retina and conveyed to the brain via optic nerve, and the realization or perceived color is cyan. That means brain do not recognize two color separately. That's the optic lobe of the brain. So, to explain it further, now one may say, why only three colors whereas we are able to see seven colors? what we see or perceive as 7 colors. Rest of the color, then blue, green and red. Rest of the colors are only realization of mixture of colors, of light. So, very raw language, sun rays contain all the colors of rainbow mixed together. This mixture is known as white light. When white light strikes a white object, it appears white to us because it absorbs no color and reflects all the colors equally. So we see it as a white substance. Whereas a black object absorbs all the colors equally and reflects none of them. So it looks black to us. Further understanding the colors. Color wheel are of two types. One are the additive color wheel. That means the color wheel I am talking about, the colors of light. Basically, again, I will remind you it is 3 colors. What we see are the mixture that is forming the total of Vibgyor. Now, subtractive color, as I told you, an object do not contain any color. The object is absorbing certain color of the light and reflecting some of the color of light. The reflected color is what we see. So, from the white light, some colors are absorbed, subtracted color is further reflected. So, what we see in the subtractive color wheel, again the 7 colors as perceived, but that wheel is to be studied differently than the color wheel of additive color, that is basically red, green and blue and called as colors of light. Let us again understand it. The additive color wheel, RGB. The primary colors red, green and blue. When they mix amongst themselves, that means the red and blue mixture forms magenta. Green and blue mixture forms cyan. Whereas red and green forms yellow. A little surprising, but that's the fact of life. White light is a mixture of red, green and blue. So, application include computer monitors, that is the additive colors, and digital cameras. Storage lighting system used RGB LEDs for mixing purpose. So I am sure you are well acquainted with all this, the computer monitors, the TVs and the screen of mobile, etc. They all are black color nowadays. And that is where the additive colors are well understood and explained. Whereas in subtractive color, primary colors are cyan, magenta and yellow. Earlier we only used to say they are blue, red and yellow. No, they are cyan, magenta and yellow. Because primary colors are the colors which cannot be made by mixing any other color in a pigment form. Secondary colors are orange, that is the mixture of red and magenta, the magenta and yellow. Green, mixture of cyan and yellow. Violet, the mixture of magenta and cyan. As we keep on mixing color, they tend to become blackish in color. That's the difference. In additive color wheel, what we saw, the color mixing is forming white. Here the color mixing is forming grayish black. Whereas CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow and black is used in printing process for darker, accurate colors. It helps achieve better black and cost efficiency. Color classification based on the color theory. Color harmonies. Color harmonies, there are different color harmonies depending on the different color mixtures or different color presentation on the color wheel. For example, they are warm, cool harmonies, complementary harmonies, analogous color, monochrome, triadic, split complementary, tetradic, or square. Let us try understanding them separately, one by one. Colors that are directly opposite to each other are called as complementary color. Apart from color wheel, black and white are also complementary. For example, red and green are complementary color, as are blue and orange. This is orange and blue. Red and green would be here to here. So complementary color create contrast when placed together and can be used making colors appear more vibrant. One of the examples that I have taken is a picture. Split complementary colors. Split complementary colors are variation of complementary color scheme. In this scheme, instead of using a single complementary color, what we use is two adjacent color. You can see it here. What is complementary to green, more clearly shown here, is red. And the side by color of it are red orange and red purple. So, what will be called as a split complementary? These two color along when they are used along with the green. Similarly, if I talk of split complementary of red, this red, the yellow green and green blue, these two will become split complementary to each other. In this scheme, we are using two colors instead of single complementary color. So they split, they are on either side of the complementary color. Next we go to the example of split complementary color, as you can see it here. Analogous color, very interesting. Analogous colors are located next to each other on the color wheel, such as red, orange, and yellow. Now these color scheme create harmony and are often used in design where a cohesive and pleasing color palette is desired. That means the vision not to stop on one color and it cohesively run onto one to another. One example of the analogous color, as you can see that blue, green and violet and its tints and shades. So they are near to each other on the color wheel. Warm and cool color, everybody understand them. No need of separate elaboration still. Any color that evokes a feeling of warmth, energy and excitement, while cool colors convey calm and tranquility. Colors on one half of the color wheel, including red, orange and yellow, are considered warm, whereas colors on the other half such as blue, green and purple, they are called as cool colors. One of the example from Vincent van Gogh's painting, the use of warm color in the background, whereas the use of cool color in the foreground of the flowers, green, blue and violet. Yellow and orange are used in the background. Local color. It sounds very simple, but local color refer to the true inherent color of the object in normal lighting condition. They are the colors we perceive when an object is not influenced by unusual lighting or surrounding. For instance, a red apple appears red in typical daylight without any unusual color. Here you can see that. And here it is unusual color because of a different light condition. I have taken another example of Jodhpur that has adopted blue as its identity. The walls can be seen as brilliant blue in daylight. Neutral color. Now neutral colors are color that lack strong chromatic content, are often described as non-color, no color. However, technically they do have got some color. They include shades of gray, beige, white and black. Neutral colors can be used as a backdrop of balance, more vibrant color in a design or an artwork. Now here is an example of that, using of the neutral colors so that they almost diminishes in rest of the color. Monochromatic. As the name itself says, the tint, shades and tones of one color is called as monochromatic colors. Mono means single, chroma means colors. Triadic color. Three colors that are evenly spaced on color wheel. In fact, you take equilateral triangle and put it on the color wheel. Wherever there are vertices of the color, those are the triadic color, but less so than the complementary color. They make it more versatile. This combination creates bold and vibrant color palettes. Here is example of that. Violet, orange and green. Square. A square color scheme consists of 4 colors spaced evenly around the color wheel. Again, equilateral square put on the color wheel. Wherever are the vertices, those are the color selected for one square color setup. Here is an example of use of square colors. So friends, I thank you very much for having heard this brief discussion on the color wheel. I'm sure it is going to be of great use to you. Thank you.